Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where and when you're watching this podcast. I'm Thomas Fessler, my friends, and this is Disclosure Tonight. Happy Friday, January 9th, 2026, as we head into the new year of disclosure. Hell, we've got stuff to talk about, which is more than I expected. On that note, let's go ahead and welcome in our audience and turn down this audio in the studio because it's way too fucking loud. There we go. Let me tone it down just a little bit. Let's take a look and see who we have out there in their chat. Let's take a look. If you're out there, say hey, and I'll say hey back at you. Amiga Rules is here along with Andy W. We got April Coleman's here and Brains. Christine Lynn is out in the chat along with Country Carpenter. We've got CW Bet B. Good to see you. You're new, my friend, I think. D. Henderson's around along with Delta Echo. Good to see you, my friend. Doggy is in the chat. That's a great style. Liza Teal's here along with Evan B. Firefly. Frank Cathel's here along with Geraldine DeRazio. We got Hypersonic, Ian Herandon. Jan's here. Good to see you as always, Jan. We got Jay Cat Meow, Kane Northrup, Kelly Broughton, those piercing blue eyes. Good to see you, Kelly. We got Clipper here along with Megan Betts. Meninopolis is around. Good to see you, my friend. Metal Gaming 420 just popped in along with Mr. Grimlock. Nathan Forrest is here along with our resident Pitbull. That would be Mr. Niles Guy. Roni Deals in the chat along with Robert Vargas. We got Sam Scooby Dooby Gooby is here. Yes, that's a doobie, my friend. Shinobi One Kenobi's in the audience along with Steve Hines, Steve Mateo. The Damon is here. The Wasteland, Turtlehead 420 along with two midgets on a horse all the way from Idaho. We got Wendy and Yankee 5858. How about that? On that note, I do need to go ahead and call in and say, Mike, how the hell are you?
Doing well tonight, Thomas. It's going to be a fun Friday night show. We have certainly enough to talk about.
Oh, that and some more, Mike, that we never thought we'd be talking about, but we're talking about it here tonight. Holy cow, let's go ahead and get to our stuff. I've got an unbelievable Twitter feed, Mike, that we need to take care of some business on first. Holy cow, it's amazing to see what they're going on in the UK these days, what they're trying to do to clamp down on free speech. And then we're a proponent of free speech here on Disclosure Tonight, of course. Let me get this back up here again. Where's that at? Let's get to my good old bookmarks. Let's see what we've got here. Yes, Mike, there's some interesting things going on. Have you heard that Keir Starmer, not just Keir Starmer, let me get this up here so as to go ahead and show. Our friends over in the United Kingdom, I know it's politics, but we got to cover this kind of stuff sometimes. Our audience deserves it. All right, what are we talking about? Yes, Britain is breaking. Keir Starmer speaks for the first time on a potential ban for X in the UK. Mike, not only are they pushing for a ban on X, here we go, from United Kingdom, guess what? They're already calling on the same from Australia. You know why?
Why?
Because apparently X makes it real easy to go ahead and undress people and repost their pictures.
Yes. Well, we know that.
Oh, yeah. Of course we know that, my friend. I had to bring that up there as a matter of business before we start up today.
Oh, look, Mr. Starmer.
Oh, yeah. You got to have fun with it, my friends. All right, yeah. What people do on X these days and with Grok, it's the power of AI. It's out there and it can do a lot of things very interestingly. On that note, let's go ahead and get to the top story we're talking about tonight. Yes, we're talking about, believe it or not, our dear friend David Grush, who's had an God, this is probably one of the best interviews we've had of Grush in a long time. It probably is because he hasn't really done interviews for a good couple of years, except some little bites here and there. He actually is implicating DNI James Clapper as one of the people who was like in charge of crash retrievals, wasn't he?
That's exactly what Grush had said publicly to Megyn Kelly.
Right.
So he's calling out the people that are the gatekeepers who have been behind this for the federal government. It's nice to hear we're finally getting information that the public wasn't supposed to know about.
Yeah, I know exactly, my friend. Let's see if I can get this up a little bit better. I don't want to show this one. I want to show this one because this is a video that's not just from Megyn Kelly's podcast. It's something that's also simulcast on Sirius XM. And I'm sure there's a bunch of things that could possibly happen for us going ahead and playing it. So what I want to do is we've got some audio. We're going to play the video off screen while we've got this clip up here because I think it's pretty interesting. Following up with this, we have a clip from Ross Colhart talking about this in detail as well. So let's jump right into this and listen into what they had to say in Grush implicating Clapper in his involvement. Yeah. You know, it's interesting, Mike, because a lot of people have gone and said that it's been hands off to a lot of people in the executive branch, that it only goes for, you know, the long-term unelected bureaucrats. It sounds like it might be different, which is really interesting. Let's go ahead and play this. Here we go.
General Clapper, the former DNI in the documentary. I certainly applaud him for at least speaking out in general. He goes on, I believe, I've only seen clips of Age of Disclosure, not the whole thing, where there was a program when he was the director of national intelligence where they were tracking these vehicles over Area 51, of course, the famed classified test location.
Interesting, Mike. We're already hearing here that James Clapper was aware of this as the ODNI, the Director of National Intelligence. I wonder if Tulsi Gabbard has that same purview.
She does.
Yeah.
It's a good point, Thomas.
Yeah. Or is it a need-to-know process, like she wasn't in the need-to-know, supposedly, for what was going on down in Venezuela? Hopefully not. But you know what? They actually were in the need-to-know because there was a leak out of her office. So, yeah, that's just double talk coming from the trolls out there. Let's listen more.
And I'm a little bit disappointed as a fellow Air Force officer, and certainly General Clapper rose to the ranks as three-star general. That's all he said in the documentary, that was a program he was aware of. In fact, without being inappropriate, I will say that General Clapper was well aware of the crash retrieval issue, managed the crash retrieval issue, and when he was the DNI, USDI, and DIA director, he placed people in critical roles.
Hold on, one more time.
Managed to say that General Clapper was well aware of the crash retrieval.
So he was well aware of it.
Issue, managed the crash retrieval issue.
He managed crash retrievals.
And when he was the DNI, USDI, and DIA director, he placed people in critical roles to manage this issue, both publicly and I'll just say non-publicly as well.
So he was working as an HR manager, almost going ahead recruiting people, bringing them to be part of the program.
Like a real headhunter, including, if you heard the last part from Grush, putting them into private companies, key people to run this program, you know, like Lockheed Martin.
Well, it could be others. Well, we always go ahead and point our fingers at Lockheed. A lot of the dirty stuff has been going on in the DOE, and it may have not been the military or the Lockheed who did the retrievals. It may have been Dick Cheney's Halliburton, who he was tied closely to because Dick had his hands on this completely.
Well, then they would technically be a private company, so that would apply.
Exactly. Good reason for it. Here, let's listen to more.
And I'll allow the audience distill what I'm saying at the risk of being inappropriate or going too far with my discussion. So General Clapper, Stephanie O'Sullivan, other folks in the IC that are well aware of this issue, that were in rooms discussing this issue, I ask you to be greater leaders on this. I should not be the only former military officer and intelligence official that is being completely candid with the information that they were exposed to. So,
all right, I know where that's from. Let me get to this really quick. I know where he's saying he's the only one, right? Then he's not the only one.
Right. Yeah, that's what Lou was answering to him about.
Let's go ahead and bring up that tweet. Let me go ahead and find Lue Elizondo's tweets. I think his retweet is what he did. It's coming. All right. In response to this, clearly, right after this interview hit, Lue Elizondo put out a tweet, said, "The only one, huh? I would add that people like Dave, Dylan, Matthew, and Lou, and many others have been badly let down. They put themselves out there whilst senior brass didn't speak up. Dave is certainly showing his frustration here, and rightfully so, but I like how Lou responded to this one. Really quaint, really short, saying the only one, huh? Because Lou's been one of the strongest voices, whether the trolls like it or not, to go ahead and try and bring this out. Whether it's all by design, whether it's a slow drip of disclosure, either way, this is what we've got."
But I got to say, Lou never named James Clapper publicly as being directly involved. Grush did. Hats off to Grush for doing that.
Well, if you remember Lue will never name names. When he knew James Lakatsky headed up OSAP before it was shut down by Lue, and he had the small ATIP carnation that was going on, pretty much unfunded in the White House.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even name Lakatsky's name when he's been asked names about other stuff. He has refrained from making statements for other people.
Which is why Grush still brings out the information that we haven't heard before.
Right.
Good for Grush.
Exactly. He actually has a little bit more balls, I'd say, to go ahead and, if it sounds like he's trying to move it forward. And this kind of goes along with the statements that Gary Nolan said earlier, just last week, about this is what we may need to have as people in places to go ahead and make statements to push disclosure forward. Maybe that's Grush's plan.
Maybe, but I can tell you, I know Grush is going to catch shit for this. We'll see moving forward. This is not going to go unchecked.
No, probably not. Let me get that picture back up here again. I lost it, of good old David Grush and such. Where is the rest of that video I was just playing? Oh, I know it's here somewhere. Did I just lose that? I don't think so. No, that's it. Did I lose it? Oh, son of a gun. I'll find it again, folks. Here we go.
What does David Grush have to lose at this point? What are they going to do? Take his security clearance away?
Well, they took it away.
Did that already.
They took it away, but they did give it back, Mike, remember?
No. They gave him TS.
Right.
Not his SCI.
No.
And he makes money with the SCI. So basically, at this point, he has nothing to lose. He doesn't really give a fuck. So,
yeah. All right.
For him.
Let's hear the rest of this segment before we get on to Ross Coulthart talking about this.
That were in rooms discussing this issue. I ask you to be greater leaders on this. I should not be the only former military officer and intelligence official that is being completely candid with the information that they were exposed to. So,
well, yeah, he is being more candid than Lue. Let's say that.
Yeah, he is.
Yep. So
which is why we like Grush, because he gives us information nobody else will publicly
exactly.
Perhaps
once again, James Clapper understates what he knows and what he's done.
There you go. Don't they all, Mike?
Oh, yes, they do. It's still going on in 2026.
Unfortunately so. Unfortunately so, my friend. All right, in this next clip, in part of this interview, we've got Ross Coulthart coming from his Ross Coulthart channel. This doesn't look like it's anything coming from good old News Nation. So this isn't reality check unless they're going to put it out there. Let's check it out when we get a chance, because we do have permission from Ross to go ahead and play his content. So let's jump into this, folks.
We do, yes.
Here we go. Bring this down a little bit, make it a little bit, dang it. No, I don't want Grush. I want this one a little bit larger. All right, here we go, folks.
Fellow UAP truth seekers, Ross Coulthart here, doing a quick commentary for this YouTube channel. I want to talk about David Grush's interview with Megyn Kelly, which was, frankly, momentous. It's one of the first times that David's put his head up in the last couple of years since he first spoke to me in June 2023, and what he said was taking on directly one of the people who appeared in the Age of Disclosure movie, General James Clapper, a fellow Air Force officer of David Grush's, no less. Clapper, of course, was a lieutenant general in the US Air Force, and he went on to become the director of national intelligence, the guy who coordinated all of America's intelligence organizations, an incredibly important oversight role. And it's interesting because one of the big questions has always been, in the Age of Disclosure movie, how much do these people know? How much did Clapper know? It was significant and it was very important that James Clapper appeared in the film, but he kind of gave a bit of an equivocatory, mealy-mouthed comment, admitting that there was a program that had been tracking UAPs. It was a bit of a bleh moment. I didn't really care about it that much. But what was very, very interesting was what David Grush is revealing. He has revealed that General James Clapper, the former DNI, he not only rose to the ranks as a 3-star US Air Force general, and that David said, quote, that's all that's Clapper, said in the documentary, that was a program that he was aware of, that there was this program that was monitoring UAPs. And then you could see David clearly made a decision to say a little bit more. And he went on to say, quote, in fact, without being inappropriate, I will say that General Clapper was well aware of the crash retrieval issue, managed the crash retrieval issue, and when he was the DNI director, he placed people in critical roles to manage this issue, both publicly and I'll just say non-publicly as well. Not quite sure what that means. And I'll allow the audience to distill what I'm saying at the risk of being inappropriate or going too far with my discussion. So General Clapper, Stephanie O'Sullivan, other folks in the intelligence community that are well aware of this issue, that were in rooms discussing this issue, I ask you to be greater leaders on this. I should not, says David Grush, be the only former military officer and intelligence official that is being completely candid with the information that they were exposed to. So perhaps, and once again, James Clapper understates what he knows and what he's done, not wittingly. It is a very, very important admission by David to say that General James Clapper, who was the Director of National Intelligence, managed the retrieval program. It does make you wonder how many other people with intelligence community links like James Clapper, who've taken a high-profile role in UAP advocacy and disclosure commentary, in fact have a secret past inside the legacy program. Are there people who aren't letting on how much they know? Yes, there are. And the simple problem with them being able to reveal what they know is the constraints of their national security oath. Watch this space. There's going to be more about this coming in 2026. Things are about to get very interesting, but it's extremely significant.
Significant it is, and things are going to be turning up, because I think Lue, Mike, if I remember, if I can find that tweet again, I've just been got too many windows up and running here. I can bring one up. I don't need to worry about frickin' audio. Let me get back to my X feed here. 1 second. There was additional posts that came out from good old Lue Elizondo.
Yeah.
That kind of tie into this. In his repost that he put out, he was on a roll. He went and did another reply going to someone by the name of Carlos Di Guado. Oh, wow. Thank you very much. The Abja. I think I know who that is. Thank you, Tio, Mr. Red Octopus, for that wonderful super chat. Holy cow. Greatly appreciated, my friend. Should stop in the back sometime when you have a chance. Not that it's required, but no, we thank you, right, Mike?
Oh, absolutely. Tio is a good friend and supporter, and it's nice to have him come in and give an amazing super chat.
Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. Now to get back on all things Elizondo here. Carlos had said, Lou, surprise us a little, please. It's been calm lately. Bring it back like you used to do so well. And what was his reply? 2 words, it's coming. Does that mean disclosure's coming? Does that mean everything that he's been working on, Mike? Potentially where he's been going ahead and say he's been working with the executive branch behind the scenes to bring out the truth? Could that be what he's referring to? Maybe?
Could be. It could also be his book that's going to be coming out this summer.
Yeah. That's true. Oh, where's that ad? Yeah, coming from... Oh, and I don't have... That's not the one I want to show. I've got it here somewhere. Oh, is this it? That's untitled. I know I got a picture of that book here. It's open somewhere in some window. Let me go ahead and find this. Yeah, Lou, that's part of the things we're talking about here, Mike. Let me go ahead and find that post, the tweet that I've got with the picture of Lou's book here. Oh, where did that?
Collins' website has it.
Oh, I know. I just have something here in my bookmarks that I can just bring up probably easier. Let's go ahead and show this one if I can find it. It's going to be right around here. All right, here we go. desktop Thomas. All right, here we go. All right, so coming in August 29th. Let me make this a little bit smaller so people can see it. And actually on sale August 27th, 2026. We had Eminent, and now we have Reckoning, the unspoken truth about UFOs and the urgency of now. That could be a working title, but you never know. Because last time when Eminent came out, Lou said that's a placeholder title. We don't know what it's going to be. But, you know, people are wondering, why is Lou bringing this out? What's going on with that? Mike, it's called, when you enter a contract with a book publisher, right?
Yeah.
They're not looking for one. They're looking for a multi-term deal. And generally, HarperCollins would have something that's called first right of refusal, where Lou has a proposal. He said what it's going to be, when he can potentially get it done, how much he's looking. He's able to go ahead and present that to HarperCollins, and they have the first right to either accept the deal, negotiate a little bit, and get to it. And if not, and if they refuse, he can take it to any other publisher he wants. But it sounds like they're hooked on a sale. They took the deal.
Yep.
Good for Lou.
Yeah, no, good for Lou is right.
Yeah,
I'm curious what he's going to have in this book. He might be taking the James Lukatsky route and giving us disclosure through these books, things that haven't publicly been said before. That might be interesting.
Well, that was
coming out in the summer.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons that Lou was actually being held back from going on podcasts and everything else by Dan Farah, allegedly, because they wanted to keep all the information he was going to talk about and present it in the movie. And they thought about him going ahead and going on these podcasts and making these appearances would be basically giving away the meat and potatoes of what's in the book, but not with Lou.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. All right.
Well, a reckoning.
The reckoning, to say the least. All right, getting back to everything David Grush. I've got a video here paused again. We're going to do the still image. I'm sorry, folks, but we just have to do it just to be safe from YouTube. Oh, and by the way, to our friends in the United Kingdom who had some snow up in the Birmingham area yesterday, let's share a video of a husky hanging out in Birmingham, or just north of Birmingham, out in the snow. They had about 8 inches of snow here, it looks like. Really great little time to see out there. So we all love the doggies, my friend. No snow here in the Pacific Northwest this year. So sorry for the aside. I had to do it. Let's find that video. Where did I put that little fucker? And it's got to be here somewhere. It's not it. Did I close it down? No way. Okay, here we go.
What do you think is the...
Okay, here we go. So we've got that. Let's go ahead and play this. This is Grush talking about... Oh, what's he? The Australia documents that we covered, Mike. Let's get into this.
Yeah. Going to be good.
Yeah, if people remember, they've been around long enough, back in January of 2023. That'd be 3 years ago, Mike. We actually did over 13 hours of podcasts over 4 days to cover all of these documents that Grush is about to talk about. And we turn those back on for people to go ahead and see. And we'll get into them a little bit here shortly. So let's play this clip of Grush talking about the real evidence that's out there that people don't know about. Here we go.
Best evidence for the people sitting at home to understand. What do you think is the best evidence for the people sitting at home to understand this is real, and it has been kept secret by the government, and it is in large part due to an active disinformation campaign.
There was a former classified Australian government analysis that is currently in the Australian National Archives. Really, the public doesn't really know about it. This was a 1971 analysis by senior physicist Harry Turner, who was in charge of nuclear procurement for the Australian government in the 60s and 70s. He was a top secret cleared senior physicist for the government. And through his sourcing, and this is a formally classified assessment of an allied government, Harry Turner discusses in the first couple pages of that assessment. If people download it and go to page 7 or 8 through 20, they'll see what I'm talking about, where Turner talks about how the CIA and other organizations secretly knew this was a real issue. started that disinformation campaign, started secretly working on reversing aspects of the technology. But the U.S. government was deadly serious on the topic at the time. And it's quite the eyebrow raiser.
Interesting, Mike. So this gets into it really short and sweet, that this document that was put together by Australia back in the 70s is actually a counterintelligence operation against the United States of America to understand what was going on with the UFO program over here.
Exactly.
So, of course, this comes from the Department of Defense, file closed from Australia from that point. Let's just get the intro. There's a bunch of things we've gone through in the past before. Okay, you have read the attachments. I would like to... we did this before. Something this matter with you on the phone. Okay, discuss. I like to discuss this matter with you on the phone. For those of you who are millennials, you probably can't read cursive, but we'll translate it for you. Let's get into it. The two documents attached are intended to focus on aspects of the UFO problem that have tended to remain hidden. The report dealing with the U.S. attitude has been compiled from official reports and statements made by the CIA, U.S. Air Force, congressional hearings, and the Project Blue Book records. The second document deals with the evidence for weapon systems used by UFOs. This evidence has been culled from computerized records collected by Dr. Jacques Vallée in collaboration with Dr. Hynek at Northwestern University, and represents only a fraction of the worldwide reports detailing with the same weapon systems. Australia has had its share of this kind of reporting. Now, number two, intelligence aspects include assessment for real from false reporting, capabilities of propulsion, methods and possible weapons used, motivation of operations, harmful for not, defensive, offensive, and scientific, etc., for both short-term and long-term, and whether there are more effective ways to detect these operations or defend them, if necessary. So this is a pretty in-depth report. As I said, Mike, we've gone through this page by page. We can share the links on this. We can go into a couple of the pages, getting into this again, just because we need to. Because, Mike, this is important that Grush is saying the proof of the cover-up and disinformation campaigns was released by one of our allies who was doing counterintelligence on us.
It's good that they did. They're giving us the information our own government won't give us.
That's true, my friend. Let's get to the first page of this. Let's go through the summary at least and have something to talk about. The early analysis of UFO reports by UASF intelligence. Let me just try and do this. Here we go. The early, come on, you can do it. I want to get yellow. There we go. The early analysis of UFO reports by USAF intelligence indicated that real phenomena were being reported, which had flight characteristics so far in advance of U.S. aircraft that only an extraterrestrial origin could be envisioned. A government agency, which later events indicated to be the CIA Office of Scientific Intelligence, OSI, studied the UFO reports with the intention of determining the UFO propulsion methods. So much for Lockheed Martin. This is in the hands of the CIA. At that time, OSI was responsible for intelligence on foreign research and development in nuclear and missile matters. 2. The CIA became alarmed at the overloading of the military communications during the mass sightings of 1952 and considered the possibility that the USSR may take advantage of such a situation. As a result, OSI, acting through the Robertson Panel meeting of mid-January 1953, persuaded the USAF to use Project Blue Book as a means of publicly debunking, just like Mick West does, UFOs, and at a later stage to allocate funds for the Avro advanced saucer aircraft that died horribly and they took in the back and we never saw it again, and the launching of crash programs into anti-gravity power. It's amazing, Mike, how the discussion of anti-gravity power vanished. from the American dialogue in the mid-50s. It was all the rage. It's all, everything we were trying to figure out. And all of a sudden, all the programs vanished and we never talked about it. All it was the disinformation saying these things aren't real.
Like it never existed, Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Well,
Exactly.
now we know, because of Australia and the work they did, that our government shut that shit down for the American public.
Of course they did. They shut it down and took it behind the scenes in the Department of Energy, where everything is, if you want to call it, kept at the highest secrecy possible. Even secrecy is higher than compartmentalized, specialized programs, secret programs that are within the DOD or the White House. The DOE is the top secrecy platform in the United States with their Q clearance. That's why a lot of these guys won't talk about stuff, Mike, because if they do, it's considered treason, which is punishable by a firing squad.
Yeah. It's on nuclear secrets and things that are attached to it.
Oh, well beyond nuclear secrets, my friend. Yeah. So to initiate such programs decades ahead of normal scientific development would indicate that the U.S. government acknowledged the existence of advanced aircraft, which presumably use a gravity control method of propulsion. An additional motivation could have been the fear that the USSR would achieve this goal before the U.S. Now remember, folks, 1971. So, by erecting a facade of ridicule, the U.S. hoped to allay public alarm, reduce the possibility of Soviets taking advantage of mass UFO sightings for either psychological or actual warfare purposes, and act as a cover for real U.S. programs developing vehicles that could emulate their performances. So to quiet it down, to say it, to blame it on Russia potentially, but really it's to cover up the kind of programs we have trying to work on this stuff. The RAAF, together with many other countries of the world, give credence only to the USAF public facade and appear to have uncritically accepted the associated information because of the money we give them. This information has been widely discredited by retiring U.S. service personnel formerly engaged on UFO investigations, as well as scientists and private citizens. So they're just discrediting people who left the program and finding ways to take their life's work and what they've put forward to it, Mike, and just discredit them and throw them under the bus.
Yep. That's what the government does for a long time now.
Yeah. Getting into this, they're saying the conclusions of the Condon report conflict with its own contents and has been discredited by many reputable scientists, including the UFO scientific consultant to the USAF. In accordance with the recommendations of the Condon report, Project Blue Book was terminated, but presumably this would have little effect on the main program. So according to this, Mike, to the public's eye, there's nothing else here. We're shutting it down. We're not dealing with anything. This is a dead topic. But behind the scenes, they're ramping things up.
In a very big way, Thomas. It went full steam when they started to lock it down from the public. Behind the scenes.
Right.
They took it very seriously. And that's still going up until 2026 today.
Oh, it's still going
Nothing
on.
Changed.
I'd say it's still going on as of today, Mike. They've never stopped.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Going on as of right now. And they won't tell us shit about it.
Oh, not at all, my friend. Let's get to number 5 here. It would appear wrong for Australia to remain ignorant of the true situation. We lack an intelligence viewpoint that can assess the nature and possible consequences of the problem. A scientific viewpoint that could derive scientifically valid data from reports, and a public relations viewpoint that can honestly satisfy public interest. To overcome these deficiencies in the Australian investigation of UFOs, it would seem that a strong cause exists for the acceptance of the RAAF suggestion that another government's department assume some responsibility for the investigation and the analysis of UFO reports. On that note, I need to get back to the channel really quick. And I saw a video that really aligns with this, Mike. Where's this at? Let me find this. copy link address. Oh, let's hopefully it's public. Okay, let me get to this and just download it real quick.
Yeah, it should be.
Oh, and this is a different video.
Okay.
This is an old news video that talks about this, and the topic on this one is Australia will not investigate UFOs. Government,
right.
Are we talking about government disinformation? Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just downloading right now. I want to play this clip. This is coming from, I believe, News 7 in the United Kingdom, which is pretty relevant. Let's go ahead and bring this classic video up, and let's play it, and then we'll get back to the document. All right. Here we go, Mike.
Yeah, let's do it.
Australia's Department of Defence has confirmed it will not be looking at UFOs, despite the Pentagon looking into a landmark report into the unexplained phenomena. Astronomer Sarah Webb joins us from Melbourne. Sarah, good evening. Gee, this is a bit disappointing at the Australians, isn't it? What do you think the Pentagon will find?
Well, it's quite an interesting topic because when you say UFO, people tend to go straight to alien. That's what they want to hear. But these unidentified flying objects were seen during fighter pilot testing, and so they're most likely some type of other aircraft, and not US military based. So I think it is important that they look into them because it could be a security risk or something like that. However, it's most likely not aliens. And I think what people are disappointed about here in Australia is, we should look into our alien UFO sightings as well. But I think that's not what they're doing. But it is a really interesting concept. And I think it's fascinating that we live in an era where our technology, especially for aerospace engineering, is just so fantastic that there are incredible spacecrafts being developed by many different nations, and that there's a possibility that there are spacecrafts that are unidentified to certain nations at certain points.
It's fascinating, though, what they found in the US, because after years of secrecy, the authorities there, Pentagon and Defence, have all said, well, guess what? We actually can't identify these. They are unidentified. They are moving at speeds that we can't calculate. They're moving in directions that don't make sense, that we haven't seen before. And really experienced jet fighter pilots who, for some time, didn't even talk about it because they didn't want to be labelled as loonies, are saying that they've seen something that just can't be identified. So I guess it raises a whole lot of possibilities.
Yeah, exactly. And that is why it is important to look into them, because if it is some type of a craft that was human made and human controlled, but something like a drone, for example, they move very differently to a fighter jet. They move in different ways. They can move very agilely, and it can be really, really dangerous depending on what you're doing in the different type of airspaces. You want to know exactly where everything is at any given point in time.
Yeah. Well, speculate for me then. You know your astronomy extremely well. You know what is out there or what isn't out there. If we were to get a visit from aliens, if there was something unidentified, not from our planet, where might it come from?
Right. Well, I would love to be proven wrong by our universe, and maybe a little green man will come down and say hello one day. But if we were to get an alien visit, it would be coming from a solar system outside of our own. And I think what people might not realize is that our galaxy, our universe is just immensely large. And so the closest star to us is 4 light years away.
Bullshit
so
artist.
That means that every night, the light that you see from the closest star to us is 4 years old. Now, we cannot travel at the speed of light. So the fastest that we could conceive getting to this other star system, if we were to use something that we've built, which the fastest thing we've ever built is the Parker Solar Probe, traveling at 60 kilometers per second, very, very quick. That would get there in about 500 years. So
seriously, 500 years.
Exactly. So if you were an alien and you take 500 years to get here to Earth, I don't know if you're going to, pop up, take a cow from a cornfield and go back.
You could do. You might be out of your mind by then. I don't know. Anything's possible.
Oh, there we go. I had to bring this up because, you take the document we've been going through, Mike, and then you see the reality of what the Australian government had proposed back in 1971. Fast forward that to 2021, and they have no clue.
No clue. It's like night and fucking day, Thomas.
Yeah. Well, exactly. That's why I had to play the, where is it at?
Oh, a bullshit bullshit artists.
Followed by, of course,
We ain't found shit.
yes, two sayings we use here a lot on Disclosure tonight to deal with those who don't have a clue, or more importantly, are involved in the cover-up, knowingly or unknowingly.
Right. And I don't really think they care. And did you see how she was throwing in drones? Well, aircraft, fighter jets can't move at those speeds, but, drones can move very swiftly. No, they can't.
Come on.
Not
Show
like
me any
that.
craft that can go at 56,000 miles per hour. While there have been claims by some individuals to go ahead and say that's Lockheed Martin technology, show me the proof. Otherwise, it's a trust me bro statement. I don't believe that. That's what actually threw Ross Coulhart's entire reputation under the bus.
Yeah. Now you're talking about technology that can come from above 80,000 feet in the air, which is in space, to 50 feet above sea level in 3/4 of a second. We don't have anything that can do that.
Yeah.
Right. No way in hell.
Exactly. If we could, Michael Sokoloff from Canada, from the province where all the U's are silent.
Every time I see one of these articles, they always fail to mention time dilation. So if a alien civilization managed to build a ship that could travel almost near the speed of light, so 99.666 or something like that, they never mention the time dilation. So on the ship, they could travel 100 light years, and only a week or 2 weeks would pass time on the ship.
Right.
But observing the ship from your home planet or from Earth would take 100 years.
Right.
Because
That's
they're
true,
traveling
but
at
part of
near
it
the
comes
same
down
rate.
to is the craft that we're dealing with here are potentially creating a gravitational warp field around them, and potentially using wormhole technology to go ahead and not just travel from point A to point B, but literally to take a shortcut where the distance that should be this long is now that long.
Yeah, and they always they never mention these other factors in time in traveling through space. Now, if you've read the Foundation series, I believe that's by Isaac Asimov, they have this problem where they'll send a fleet of ships to attack another planet, but it'll be 500 years before they get the results of what happened. So if you read the Foundation series, he attacks that time problem that all civilizations traveling through the galaxy would have.
Yeah.
So, it just amazes me that they always fail to mention that kind of
right
scenario.
But the limitation is the fastest you can go in regular space is about the speed of light. But if you compress that and you're skipping along the way, you're not actually traveling that full piece, which actually means, although you could be going light speed, you're actually going a hell of a lot faster because you're using gravity to actually compress the space you're going through.
In other words, warp drive. Like Star Trek, I think Star Trek and Star Wars is not far off from the way we would travel through space in the future.
Except probably Star Trek got a little bit better than Star Wars did.
Yeah.
And we have a recliner in chief, Ed Brown. What say you?
Well, I think you and Michael brought up some very good points that weren't on that report about the time dilation and everything. But here's another one. Let's shorten it down a little bit more. Let's say they're interdimensional right here on Earth. There's no time travel. They just pop in and out of our reality.
Yeah. Where there's another dimension that's not far from ours, and they're just able to change their frequency and their dilation, whatever it is, to be able to just go from one directly to the other without having to take that long trip.
Yeah, and it seems to me, in just trying to follow the ufologist on this, that's becoming an increasingly believable idea. One of the AI searches I did today said 60% of the people that believe that something's happening 60% of them fall into the category of extraterrestrial or this long distance travel. 20% or so fall into the idea they're interdimensional.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple other categories down below that. But
gosh,
yeah,
I remember
it's growing in
I
popularity.
remember talking to Colonel John Alexander back in 2005, and he was talking about the interdimensional aspect of this back then. So it's a statement that's been around for a while, but it's been recently that it's been getting traction. Now, back when I met with Alexander at his house a couple times with my dear departed agent, Barry Friedman, back at the day. Barry, we love you, my friend. You mean a lot to me, although you're gone. When Alexander was talking about this, he was saying even recently he was still going to D.C. to go ahead and brief presidents on what was going on. So people who are in the program, people who are a part of it, they're there for a long time, Michael.
The other thing they always get wrong is distance. When they say, oh, they've traveled millions of light years. They haven't traveled millions. The galaxy, our galaxy alone is not, I think it was 250,000 light years across. So they're not traveling millions of light years.
Yeah.
Only if we want to go to the next closest galaxy, which would be Andromeda, would you travel that distance.
Right, sir.
Which we will collide into in a couple of billion years.
Yeah, absolutely. Does someone else in the back? And I think that's about everyone with their hand in the back, right? I think we're good on that.
Yeah, that's it. We're good.
Mike, your thoughts? It's interesting to see the stuff coming out of Australia getting brought back into it. And Grush said not a lot of people are aware about it. It's something rather obscure. And yeah, as soon as we saw it, we covered it because it really gives you a good blueprint of what was going on.
Yeah, well, we covered and broke this story 3 years ago, Thomas, and spent 4 full nights on covering this. It was
the last night was actually 4.5 hours to get through the thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of good information there.
You think?
We broke it here first. So nice to have Grush confirming that.
Yeah, confirming something we invested a lot of time in to bring the truth out. Absolutely, Mike.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it was fun. Those episodes were fun. Everybody liked them.
Oh, gosh, yes. All right. Is there anything else here from Lou that we haven't covered? All right. We got one more tweet from Lou we need to cover that we haven't shown yet. Dealing with one of the trolls, Heather Birdie. Interesting. Let's see how Lou deals with her. I think it's a her. We can call it a her, for that matter. All right, where are we at? Desktop Thomas. Let's get to it, Lou. Okay. So Heather Birdie says, David isn't out here pushing fake UFO pictures and associating people who dox, harass, and intimidate members of the community unlike yourself. Oh, come on, you trash. He's just doing what he needs to do. So yes, he is the only one. I doubt you have anything of substance to share, though. I'd love for you to prove me wrong, but so far you've done nothing but prove me right. Mike, I think we're dealing with yet another... Yes, and she is blocked by me, and she has been for the longest time. We're dealing with another troll who associates with
Poopa and Panda. Yeah.
Fanda and Poopa.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely a troll that does not like Lou.
So how does I thought he responded. No, is that the only one? Yeah, not the only one. Yeah, we got that one. It's coming. Yes, we will. No, this one was yes, we will.
Yes.
So Lou's answer to this one was, yes, we will. He said, David isn't out here pushing fake UFO pictures and blah, blah, blah. You know what? Lou, in his last photo that showed the irrigation circle, it was an example of why potentially airline pilots were unwilling to come and bring out the truth because of the stigma associated with bringing light to something that may not be what they thought it was.
Right. But Lou put a disclaimer out. He said he didn't verify the photo. It was just handed to him.
Justin R., you need to go read Heather Birdie's tweets. You'll find out she's a troll as well and part of the Tupa clan.
Yeah.
Or let's call it the Tupa cult. And everyone's allowed to have their own their own site on it. But however, Lue has not dealt with any. Lue has not done anything to dox or harass or intimidate members of the community. He's been dealing with that. And when things happened a lot ago, there were people like Rob Heatherly who stood up behind the scenes and gave them the same shit back that they were dishing out. And sometimes, Mike, they deserve it.
Yeah, that's true. Right now, Lue is running his bar, and he's living his life, and they don't like that. Well, tough shit.
Yeah. All right, getting back to talk about that interview that was going on. We can cover the stuff with Australia at another date. It's there and it's information. Back to this interview. One of the things that Grush brought up was disinformation, factional fighting from both parties. Grush says that the topic has been hit by domestic information operations or misinformation operations and describes a Game of Thrones style of infighting, which is kind of what we've been seeing here for a while. He explicitly calls it bipartisan, Republicans and Democrats. Oh, you guys can't even see this. Sorry. Republicans and Democrats are both guilty, his claim, and references both prior administrations as part of the pattern. On air, bipartisan unity is real when it comes to keeping you out of the room, meaning we're not going to give you the answers, and it comes on both sides. Remember, wasn't it Mike Turner, who's the current leader of the House, Mike?
Mike Johnson.
Mike Johnson, yes, who's been keeping the UAP caucus from the ability to have their select committee on, was it a select committee on UFO disclosure?
Since he got elected, yes.
Right.
Adamant about it. There will be no subcommittee on UAP.
Right. Absolutely. And they're not going to give it. And the problems that we've had coming from the task force for the declassification of national secrets that came to us under Representative Anna Polina Luna. Oh, I've got a video I have to play on that one, Mike. It's a shame because, there's the ability to bring out the truth, but there's just the wrong people, I believe, have been put in the roles that's purposely kept this thing back from where it needs to go.
Right. I mean, we've called that out as well because these elected officials that have put in these capacities, like Luna and Burleson, are out there on social media supporting the fucking trolls. So, Knox. So this is why we're not getting disclosure. The stupidity.
Oh, exactly. Oh, we got to cover that one. We got to cover that. We got to cover that. See if I can find the one here that I had here. That's not it. All right.
Out that.
Let me get a blurry screenshot to show this one. And we'll go ahead and play this next clip of Representative Anna Polina Luna talking on the Megyn Kelly podcast, talking about UAPs and how they're real. And they have been denied access to actual imagery and things that have been going on, showing that it's an active cover-up, keeping those, Mike, who aren't in the, as they call it, the need to know, out of the truth.
Right.
So let's play this audio clip. Here we go.
Hearing or watch the latest documentary, you think, is everybody nuts? Like, are they all in on it? Is it like me? But I've heard you talk about this so many times, matter of factly on Joe Rogan and in the halls of Congress. I believe you, and I believe you believe it. And having watched this documentary now, I believe it too. Boy, if it's a lie, they got a lot of storied scientists to spew a bunch of nonsense at risk to their own careers and reputations about it. You've run the hearings. You've talked to countless guys who have been investigating this for years. What's your conclusion?
Let's see where she takes this, Mike. Don't hold your breath. With a smile.
Look, we, especially from a national security perspective, want to know why it is that if these things or if whatever this is real, why is it, first of all, that members of Congress who serve as the oversight authority for the civilian arm, really the American people, are being denied access to the videos and photos of what we displayed in that hearing? Megyn, Representative Burleson had that video dead dropped to him. It was scrubbed with any
Mike, I think she's talking about the video that was dead dropped to Burleson right before the hearing of the craft from Yemen.
The Hellfire video
Right.
she's talking about.
Yep. All right.
Which turned out to be real.
Yeah, it did. Absolutely. Let's fix that. All right, here we go.
It's data that could point to who gave the information to him, but that is a confirmed real video. And as you were seeing, that is a type of footage that, unless it is basically leaked to us, we're being denied access to, specifically out of...
Really quick, Mike, about that video. Not only were they refused access to it, any questions about that video has not been answered.
They wouldn't answer. Would not refuse to answer.
Refused to answer anything, which screams cover up.
Well, it is a cover-up, and Grush came out and explained how and why it's a cover-up.
Yep, he certainly
we know
did.
that already.
Let's continue on with this. Here we go.
Of the Department of War. Now, this goes way back to last Congress, actually, when myself, Representative Gates, and Representative Burchett had actually done a field hearing following up on two whistleblowers, or a few whistleblowers that had come forward to Representative Gates' office that were pilots at Eglin Air Force Base, alleging that the U.S. government was covering this up. Of course, when you hear something like that, you're like, all right, you know, you've seen this in sci-fi films or heard rumors about this, but never have dealt with it directly. And then basically, in a nutshell, Representative Gates, Burchett, and I went out to Eglin, and of course, they tried to cancel the meeting. We got the meeting back on. And then once we were there, we were actually denied access. We got into a massive fight with the base commander. We went in and out of the skiff. And then ultimately, without saying too much,
Well, I'm going to say too much here on this one, Mike, because the base commander suddenly had to excuse himself from the meeting.
Right. There was an urgent thing.
It was an urgent call he had to go ahead and take. They waited about 20, 30 minutes, and then a representative came back in and said that the commander is no longer available for this meeting. He is on leave.
Yeah, he went on vacation.
Yeah.
In the middle of the meeting.
In the middle of the meeting, he was called out and put on leave. You know, this reminds me of one of the representatives I worked for with Microsoft back in the day when they had Windows CE. Mitchell was his last name, and they were looking at taking the Windows CE platform and turning it into basically what the iPhone turned into. They were going to have an app store. They were going to go ahead and have my company convert Doom. We're going to go on to Descent and a whole bunch of other video games. We're going to Age of Empire. We're going to go ahead and create this content and give it away to people. So it got more from just, I mean, these devices at the time were so advanced and no one took advantage of it. They could handle OpenGLES without a problem, high frame rates, great resolution and everything, but there was no content to get there. Well, lo and behold, there was an inquisition coming out of the Windows 95 antitrust, and they took Bill Mitchell and they shipped him out to the UK suddenly, and he was gone. Someone else came in, and they basically, his name was Keith Shields, rest his peace, he deserves it. He's passed away at this point. He came in and he had a conversation with me saying, hey, Thomas, you know what? I got some good news and bad news. What do you want to hear first? I'm like, well, take your pick. I already knew about the deal with ID Software went forward and they had already signed the deal. He's like, well, the good news is ID Software signed the deal and we can go ahead and move forward. The bad news is we're not moving forward. I'm like, why? This is like the content program to take a platform and make it that it's not like, hey, Murray, look at this great device and look, it's got my spreadsheet. No, it would be something of, oh my God, look at this. I'm playing these games. This is awesome, and create a halo effect. Because one little stinking individual didn't like games, didn't want his life to be part of games. They destroyed Microsoft's ability to actually combat Apple in the future. It just shows how one individual in a particular position, Mike, can be short-sighted and destroy a complete agenda, which is, I think, what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, but we're dealing with it on the government side. But it happens in corporate America as well. Good example, Thomas.
Yeah, I just have to bring that up as something I was involved in. Not a lot of people know about what actually happened, but you know what? Microsoft has had their chance time and time again to lead, and they get tired of something and say, oh, we don't want to be involved with that, and they walk away from it when that was the spot to be. Let's continue more and listen to more of what Anil Palinu is saying.
of how we got some of the information that we did is I actually had asked one of the witnesses to draw for me the photograph or the image of this thing that was essentially being denied to us. So they're denying us the actual imagery, but the military officer was able to actually draw it for me, of which I'm sure they didn't think that we were going to ask them to do that, but we did. And again, even dating back to my own military experience, there was one point when I was stationed at Portland Air National Guard prior to...
She was down in Oregon, I believe.
...to leaving active duty. And at that point in time, there was an airspace incursion that had taken place that some of the pilots had been talking about. One specifically, I said, what is this thing specifically? Are you able to describe it? He couldn't. He got...
I think they dispatched F-15s, wasn't it, Mike? 2 or 3 F-15s were dispatched from Oregon to head up towards Alaska for this particular UAP incident.
Right. But he had to go on vacation in the middle of the meeting.
Well, that's something else, but we're talking about her time up in Oregon.
Kind of spooked talking about it. And that's in my opinion, he definitely ran into a UAP or saw a UAP or they're chasing one. But that is not the first time that we've had pilots in fear of losing their flight status for coming forward with this information. So I kind of started as a skeptic, but after leading into the investigations, after seeing some of the footage like you saw in that hearing, after talking to a number of people, not people that are driving Winnebagos wearing tinfoil, but legitimate, credible people, it definitely seems real.
Mike, I have to go ahead and bring this out because we need it sometimes. Yes, you have to go ahead. You have to be skeptical, my friend, because if you're not, you believe all the shit that comes out there. You're just eating it like you're at the endless Lou buffet.
Right.
You will take as much as you can possibly eat. And I want more. I want to hear this. I want to hear that and everything. And I think that's part of the whole ufology part that Lue Elizondo wanted to have
the burn to the ground,
burn to the ground because it needs it. And if you're talking about Winnebago, she's talking about Escape from Witch Mountain, and I loved that movie as a kid. Just saying.
Yeah,
Eddie Albert, I think it was Eddie Albert actually played the main spot of the guy driving that Winnebago. How dare she? We loved him in Green Acres.
An oldie but a goodie.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. Ah, great things today. What else am I at my bookmarks? I got a bunch of bookmarks. Oh, well, there's... Oh. Mike, we got more. We got more pictures of Keir Starmer popping up. It's amazing how well X works for taking someone and putting them in bikinis or adult diapers even.
Nice.
Oh, I know. There we go.
Nice.
There we go. So it's doing its job. All right, we got problems with Gert Ferguson. Oh, God. Oh, I ain't going to show this one. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with the police and everything. We're going to have a show of Late Night Update to cover some of the bullshit that's going on around the United States at this time. What else do I have? That's for you. Wait a minute. That's not my bookmark feed. No, not business. No, we can't see that. Bookmarks, where are we at? Here we go. Keir Starmer. We've got that one. Okay, interesting news, Mike. Artemis 2. Not the live stream of Artemis. Yeah, they were going to get Lue Elizondo on, but it was going to be a trap. And amazing when Lou found out, or Jennifer found out what was going on, that their appearance was canceled. Artemis 2 enters its final phase. NASA announced that no earlier than January 17th, it will move the SLS rocket and Orion spacecraft for the Artemis 2 mission from the Vehicle Assembly Building to Launch Pad 39B in the Kennedy Space Center. Does this mean we're finally going to get the first launch of Artemis to actually go ahead and orbit the moon with people on board?
That's what they're scheduling, it sounds like.
It would almost be better. Go ahead and just throw the, if you want to call it, Elon's robots on there. Why risk human life if we don't have to?
That's a good point. You're right.
Okay. Next piece. Yes, we heard some things about gay cruises this week coming from Dr. Gary Nolan. And he actually released some pictures, not just this one, but he's got another one where he's there with animal control.
That was me with
with animal control and a close-up version of him in there. And he was attacked on X because he's gay and he was on a gay cruise. You know, if you're gay, you're going to go on it. You're an older gentleman. You want to have some fun. You can. It's not all frickin' orgies and everything. There's a lot of fun times and things going on. But the main reason we're bringing this up, Mike, is because nobody picked up and talked about the reason
Mediterranean.
Why Gary Nolan brought this out. It's simple, my friends. I saw this and it's like, oh my God, he's pulling all of the skeletons out of his closet. He's throwing everything out there for the public to see. That way, if the trolls dig into it and they find pictures of him on these cruises having a fun time with animal control and other people and things having a fun time, well, it's his lifestyle. That's where he's at. You can't persecute a guy for it. But Mike, I think he was getting in front of the narrative because who was it? We've had the Washington Post, was it? Going ahead, trying to investigate this whole UFO thing, and the trolls may have been contacted as part of it. So, you know, it's a tough subject to talk about, but you know what? Him doing it, he got ahead of the trolls, and he can now control the narrative. What do you think?
No, you're absolutely right about that, Thomas, of course. Plus, it was a public cruise. There were thousands of people on there, all with cameras. If he didn't come forward with this and somebody had posted it, it would have been more difficult for him to talk about.
Yeah. And people say, oh my God, how can you bring this out? Why did he bring it out? But it's obvious. It's to go ahead and show this is who I am. This is what I was at. And if you're going to attack me on my regular cruise or going to my Greek cruise, which have been mostly filled with a bunch of Greek gods for that matter, good for him if he can afford that kind of stuff. Mykonos, that is the island to go to for the gays. But you know what? If he could, good for him. It's good to be the king sometimes.
Oh, it is. He's very successful, independently wealthy. The man is in his mid-60s. So
he's about 10 years older than I am, Mike.
On vacation, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, he was, you know, he's about the same age as my doctor, Dr. Rob Kildany in downtown Seattle. Great guy. He's gone on these cruises with his significant others. Granted, while they came back with multiple STDs and other things, and they were no longer together, it's a place of debauchery. It's a place to have a fun time, but not everybody goes down that route. But it's a nice time to come together with like-minded people and have a fun time.
Right, which is what he did. And he was open and public about that.
Right.
So he did nothing wrong. It was, I think, the right thing for him to talk about it.
Oh, God, yeah. And more importantly, it gave him the opportunity to talk about that, bring out his pictures where he even dyed his hair black at one time, showing himself shirtless in different areas. Good for him, because that's who he is. That's who he's always been. And it's not like something he's hiding like other people on X who are still in the closet and denying it, unfortunately. I feel bad for them because it makes their life so much more difficult than it has to be.
Well, it also seems to expose these people for their beliefs about alternative lifestyles.
Yeah.
Even though they claim to be, progressive and they accept all different walks of life. Well, we've heard ourselves because of this story how that's not really the case, and they really are bigoted. And in the 21st century, there's no room for bigotry.
I mean, they were taking this picture, Mike, and putting it up there and saying he was, this is the new direction for UFO disclosure, and saying he's in gay orgies, which, he wasn't near the hot tub that sometimes is referred to as the egg drop soup.
Right.
But he's just having a fun time,
Right, which he's entitled to do.
God, yeah.
He's a walking, living success story in America.
Oh, God, yeah.
But there are people that are trying to attribute his lifestyle as something that is shameful and the direction of disclosure, which it is not. It has nothing to do with that.
Not even close,
it's
my
just
friend.
Bigots, people who are being closed-minded and ignorant.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, for those friends who like technology and have an old Apple Watch hanging around, Mike, I saw this one and I figured I have to go ahead and share it. This is a new tech toy that's out there for people that it's called the Repod. It allows you to go ahead and take your existing Apple, your old Apple Watch, put it in a case that looks like an iPhone that you can still swipe across. You can go ahead and use the dial on it to make it work like an old iPod. So, it's a great way to look at repurposing your technology into something that's a bit smaller, not accepting of all the features, but, it's something cool nonetheless.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, yeah, there we go. Let's go back to the next one. Where are we going next? Get out of here. Oh, God. All right. We know about the aging infrastructure in the United States, eh, Mike?
Oh, we do, yes.
And how dangerous it is to go ahead and actually inspect all the different bridges we have all over the place while they have new technology that's out there that's coming from drones. Granted, we're now not allowing the latest drone technology in the United States under executive order, unfortunately. But let's go ahead and let's bring this little clip in. Where are we at? Here we go. This is really interesting, Mike. They have the ability to go ahead and scan bridges with LiDAR technology and identify all the places where stress cracks and other things are going on. And we know in the United States, we have a lot of aging infrastructure everywhere, but this is something that makes it safe. It's something that can be completed in hours instead of weeks. No one is put at potential risk. And then we get the real data of what's going on with the bridges and what safety issues are we truly dealing with. This is amazing.
It is. And can potentially save lives if they catch it soon enough.
Oh, of course, yeah. Or even save money, because if they find issues going on with bridges and they can identify them, they can get in there and fix it sooner before everything starts falling apart.
Yeah.
All right, where are we at? Let's get back to interview guest. I'll skip past this one. No.
There is.
All right. This is a short clip coming from Diana Pasulka.
Okay.
Who's someone who's looked into the disclosure problem, what's been going on. She's worked for Jacques Vallée many times in the past. She's talking about astronauts who see UFOs in space and why they sign NDAs, Mike. This is a telling interview. Let's play this clip. Here we go. Pray we don't get hit. Let's go for it. All right, here we go. Coming to us from X.
It does seem like there is a concern about that. And that's why we do see this saturated media, especially with respect to UFOs. Like, it seems like, first off, we have some competing space programs. Like what are the viable space programs? Well, it has traditionally been the Russian space program and U.S. space program. And believe it or not, we're with them. They're not our enemies in space. Okay. So we're in the space station together. We do technology together. Okay. But now China has its own space program. And so it's putting people up into space too. It's seeing what's up there. And there was a point when I asked Tyler, because astronauts sign NDAs before they go into space. And I was curious about that. And so Tyler, of course, knows all these astronauts. And I said, why do they, in fact, it was in front of an astronaut that I asked this. I said, why do you have to sign an NDA? And they both kind of looked at me, and Tyler said, because they see shit in space.
They see shit in space, Mike. Surprised?
And
I'm
they're
not
allowed to talk about it.
And they can't talk about it. That's why when you see the first interview of the astronauts who came back from the moon and they were acting like they were in fucking shock, is because they were in shock based on what they saw.
Yeah, and they were quarantined, if you remember, when they got back.
Oh,
they
yeah.
weren't allowed to speak to anybody at all. They got locked away.
Yeah.
So they're hiding something. We've known that for decades now.
It's a cover-up, Mike. Where's Tim Burchett?
Yeah.
We need a quote of Tim Burchett to go ahead and play back here. Jay Albertson, my friend, your hand is up.
I was just going to say, I think it's kind of funny that There's also that astronaut that's coming back now that's going to be immediately quarantined when he comes back off the space station, which I understand if it's a medical emergency, but what if he saw something in there and he has to be immediately quarantined and now they have to talk to him?
Yeah, that's true. Well, it's going to come down to a select number of people are going to be able to get in and talk to him. Probably not even family and friends, but just maybe a wife or someone. You never know.
It'll most likely be medical personnel and high people in NASA, or that are going to be able to talk to him, or whoever's in charge of that mission.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you completely, my friend. Now, if we look to some additional things I found coming from Engaging the Phenomenon over on X, let me bring this one up so we can all see it as we go through and listen to a video clip from Engaging the Phenomenon over on YouTube. I encourage everybody to go watch his stuff. A great guy. Let's bring this one up. Here we go. All right. So, former CIA officer Jim Semivan on the problem with disclosure. 1, no one knows the exact source of the phenomenon. Well, we might, but we're not going to say it. There is too much for the USG to answer for. Maybe, depending on if you get the different figureheads together, they can give us some kind of an answer. The phenomenon controls disclosure. This is something we've talked about for the longest time, Mike. If they don't want the truth to come out, it's not going to come out. But if they've made deals with the humans on this planet and humans aren't holding out their part of the deal, they're going to bring out the truth on their own. I see Ed, our recliner in chief, you have your hand up?
Well, I've been saying that for a couple of months.
Oh, you have been? A year, my friend, at least.
It's going to happen until the NHI says it's okay.
Yep. And if they say it's okay, but the humans don't, the NHI is going to ignore the humans and do it anyway, right?
Yep, that's correct. They are going to control disclosure's time.
Yeah. Then we get the next statement. We're not ready for disclosure. Well, you know what? If we're not ready now, we'll never be ready. Let's be honest. So just rip the Band-Aid off. Tell us the truth. The next one is a phenomenon. Can come into your house, abduct you, plant memories inside your mind, read your mind, make you feel like you're euphoric so you don't give a fucking care. Throws the questions into ideas of as we as humans have agency and free will, but when we deal with the non-human intelligence, I don't think we have free will, because they put into this, if you want to call it, euphoric state where you just follow along to whatever they want. You don't push back, and you just have this energy that flows through you where you don't give a shit about anything. So, Andy, good night, my friend. We love you. Let's go ahead and play I'll just play this clip and see where it takes us. Here we go.
And I don't discount any of that. You can't discount any of that. People aren't lying when they say what they've seen, but they would be lying if they told you what it is, because they don't know. They just know what they've seen, and they can describe it to you, and they can tell you what it is, but they don't know what's behind it.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with all of this, and that's the problem with disclosure in general. And I think why the government is really highly reluctant to come out with any of this data, because their narrative isn't complete, nowhere near complete. They can't come out and, for instance, if the president came out tomorrow and said, well, I got this fantastic thing I want to tell you. A, UAP are real. B, there are non-human intelligences. And maybe C, we're in contact, or we have been in contact with them. But I can't tell you anymore.
What do you
in disclosure, right? Yeah.
But if he brings it out, Mike, no one's going to listen to him. Over half the people aren't going to believe him because they're in that club of the other party. And then again, the people who are within his party, there's going to be a subset of those people that don't believe him. So even if he tries to bring out the truth, the brainwashed people of America aren't going to listen. They're not going to want to listen. They're going to do everything to go ahead and say the opposite of what's being said. We've seen that in time and time and time again. Even like the shit that's been going on in Minnesota recently, even in Washington State.
Right. It's something that's not new, Thomas. This is going to continue. They don't want to know, so they're going to cover it up.
All right, let's play a bit more. Here we go.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think the nature of that contact would be? And is the contact with the legacy program?
Well, getting back to what Peter said, nobody controls this. I mean, if anybody controls it, it's the phenomenon itself. Disclosure may not happen or may not be happening because the NHI don't want it to happen. NHI don't want it to happen.
Yeah, may not want it to happen. Maybe because we've made promises with the NHI to bring out the truth, and our government doesn't want to bring out the truth because they've got too much of a good thing coming, Mike. They have too much funds. They have too many things going on. If this comes in, it's going to wreck their entire game and their portfolio.
Why give that up if you don't have to?
Yeah. Gene, what do you think?
Point.
You've been quiet. Let's throw you into this mess. If I can.
If his mute button is probably still on.
Yeah. 3, 2. Gene, are you there? You're usually there, my friend. If not, jump in when you can. Let's play it.
Or because we're not ready for it. I mean, that's what I've heard. I've heard that that's pretty much the case. And you can't explain it to the American people. You can't. Well, you'd explain it to everybody in the world, right? What the hell are you supposed to say? I mean, it's a statement that would beg.
What do you say? You say the truth. There's been a non-human intelligence on this planet here for hundreds of thousands of years. They've intervened with the, if you want to call it, evolvement of the human species. More importantly, they've also been involved with the advancement of our technology. And here's why.
And we're not alone on this planet.
Exactly.
That's how you start the conversation.
A million questions, and you have no answers for that? Well, do we have?
Well, of course we have answers for it, but you just have to take and limit it down to the question of, Mike, why are they here? Or more importantly, what are they doing here? Let's leave it really simple. What are they doing here? And then we can go back to why are they here? If they don't want to tell us about their technology and their ships that they have. I couldn't give a rat's ass about that. That's wonderful. That's like, worrying about stuff we don't care about. We want to know what the fuck are they doing here? And more importantly, why did they come here in the first place? Corporal Abe, I see you're giving us a hands up on that one. What do you say?
I 1,000% agree with you. That's the primary focus I think we all collectively as a species need to focus on right now. Is it a threat? What the fuck do they want? Are we food?
Well, Lue Elizondo has said many times we're not the top of the food chain. And you know what that means? It means there's someone else above us and they're feasting on everything else.
I don't want to be dinner tonight.
What was that again? I'm sorry.
Said I don't want to be dinner tonight.
Neither do I. Nobody does. But if it's the reality of it, and what it comes down to, it may be not when our human lives are on this planet, but as we go ahead and pass, we get into this spectrum of, oh, wow, we have to go into the light. We've got this angel, this Mary, this person who's this feminine, who's there, who's encouraging you to go ahead and go into the light. That's coming specifically from Chris Bledsoe. But the problem is what I've seen, that light that you're going to isn't good. It's a trap. And we are being consumed.
Classification of reality. And we're being asked to vote for wars or politics or whatever. But then we have this reality classified here in 2026. So do we need to wait another 100 years before the haves give the have-nots the information? I don't know.
Not, you know, some people are saying they're demons. All we're saying is what we're looking at are things that potentially aren't there for us. They're not there to help us, but they're there to consume us once we've gone through what we've called our life on Earth. And they all call this about regeneration and stuff going on. And you look at all the diagrams and things that are out there of the recycling, but in all the diagrams, everything is one way. There is no recycling. Ed, you had your hand up, maybe?
Yeah, I was right after Abe mentioned that. I said, I can answer that question. I know when it's going to be. It's going to be September of 2026. So we've got, 9 months left or so?
Yeah.
Something like that. And I did some more. I ran some more AI runs today. And I'm using 3 or 4 different AI models now. And they're all doing the same thing. They're saying that the intensity of all of this is coming closer and closer.
Right.
And if the intensity goes up and the distance between them goes down, that means we're approaching that point.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I just saw something from Jan come up and say, demons don't need crafts. That reminds me of the episode with Star Trek where they supposedly ran into God. And in that episode, they ask, why does God need a starship? He shouldn't, if he's truly God.
I've addressed that too, Thomas. I don't mean to jump in here too often.
No, it's wonderful.
Here's the answer to that question. If you're looking at it from the ET perspective, I think, or whatever, the alien NHI perspective, I think they let us see as much as they know we're ready to see. They don't give us too much and they don't give us too little. They're leading us along, and we're like, sheep getting ready to run over the cliff here, just listening to what they've got to say.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's anything we can do to change that. It's just something we've got to accept with this.
It just comes down to when you die, don't go into the light, stay back. Let's play some more of this clip. Here we go.
Have free will. Well, I don't know. Well, they're able to come in your house and do all kinds of crazy stuff. They're able to abduct you, take you away. They're able to, plant memories inside your mind. They're able to do this, that, and the other thing. You have no control over it. So there's a loss of control. People don't like that. They want to think that they control their lives. They get up every morning and make decisions. They can go here, there, and the other thing. And now somebody's going to tell them, well, that's not really true.
Yeah. So
they can come into your house anytime, or they can appear to you, not appear to you. They can do anything they want to do. They're omnipotent beings for all intents and purposes. Do you really want to say that? Particularly if you have no way to defend against it? No.
Mike, I'll let you run the rebuttal on this. Mike, what do you think? And let's pull it back to the our panel.
I don't think they're demons. I believe that whatever it is far more advanced than we are. It's another civilization that's higher up on the food chain. There's no way in hell that you want to bring religion into this. It's not about religion. They're not gods. They're more advanced, but that doesn't give them magical powers, in my opinion. So anybody that wants to make that argument, I think when and if the time comes that we're going to get a closer look at what's here on the planet with us, we're going to realize that it's something that we don't understand that's completely different than what we know, in my opinion.
Mike, I think he gave a very good point, made a very good point about what they're going to tell us and what they're not going to tell us. But I still think we're not going to get any more than they want to give us.
You might be right about that. But Ed, I also wanted to say that when you were in the Air Force, you flew the A-10 Warthog. That thing packs a hell of a punch and can take a beating at the same time. I don't think that whatever we're up against,
it's like a Timex. It takes a beating and keeps on ticking.
Well, Simvan said that nobody knows exactly who they are, and all the work he's done, he kind of implied, I don't know what they are. They just do all these strange things that we don't understand. So, but seriously, Mike, I know you're not religious, but I don't think you can rule out religion as a clue as to some of the things we're seeing. Because in my opinion, there is a parallel between the signs that we're seeing that are described biblically as the signs and wonders and end times.
But look back, Ed, beyond Christianity to the Mahabharata. It goes back over 5,000 or 7,000 years, for that matter, much farther back than Christianity goes. And you'll see the same kind of thing, talking about the sky gods, the battles that happen in the sky, talking about the different craft that they had for going ahead and flying around and stuff. So it's in multiple religious texts from around the world. So it's not just Christianity. It's Christianity, it's Hinduism, it's others as well.
That's true, but that ought to support the argument. That ought to enforce the argument a little bit more too. If you go to 6 different religions and you find something common in all 6 of them, well, what have you got? You probably got some truth there.
Bingo.
You know, if you go to the Bible and keep seeing over and over that this is going to happen, and then you go to these other texts, the Indian text and all the others, and you say, well, I see the very similar thing here in the Vedas or whatever. You know, well then, if it's the same in that text and the same in the Bible and the same in the, the Quran, then yeah, maybe that's relevant.
I mean, they talk about the, what was it again? The Vimanas. And they actually have diagrams of the stuff. They try to explain how the stuff works, but it's there. This goes beyond the Book of Enoch. This goes beyond all of this stuff. This goes back into a time before that. And if you look at a lot of the ancient architecture that is in India and the statues that they have built, it blows Egypt out of the fucking water for what they actually have there in the country. Jay, go ahead. Your hand is up.
Oh, go ahead.
My point to Ed real quick was, you're right, I'm not religious, but all I was saying, Ed, is that I don't feel that these are magical beings out of religious beliefs.
As Rob used to call it, little G gods, meaning we're seeing them, we think they're above us, we think they're actual gods, but it's not actually the overall creator of what we're dealing with here.
Right.
It's little things that based on where we're at with our knowledge and our evolution and everything that's passed down, we see them as something, but we see them for more than they actually are because we're just dumb. And if you want to look at it, every freaking 6,000 to 12,000 years, we have major catastrophes that happen on this planet, and we forget everything and get sent back to the Stone Age time and time again.
Right. Our history here on this earth is showing that. So you make a good point, Thomas. I agree. So Jay, I didn't mean to cut you off. Continue with what you were saying.
Oh, no. I was just going to agree with you totally on that as well, Mike, that a good quote is Arthur C. Clarke: any significant advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. You know, you have a smartphone and you show it to a caveman, oh my God, it's now a divine scarying glass that they're looking into, or a GPS would be clairvoyance, or, internet would be a global telepathic mind, something.
Yeah. And by the way, really quick, I just saw something pop up on the screen about, if you want to call it, that we see certain symbolic things, and this is what it means. If it's coming from archaeologists, it's a fucking guess. And no matter what archaeology thinks and tries to go ahead and connect from one spot to the other, their entire catalog of how archaeology sees things and goes ahead and relates to the actual archaeological record, it's completely broken.
Yeah, no one back then was alive at that time to actually sit there. No one here was alive back then to sit there and say, I know exactly what happened. It was all written down. Well, written down, and then you have that over thousands of years. Well, it gets changed over time.
Yeah. That's a good point, Jay. I'll agree with that. So it's also, I think, Thomas, you're referring to scientism.
Scientism, historism, religiousicism, any of the kind of stuff. You take the different studies we have, you add an ism on the end, they go ahead and take what they're talking about it, and they take their science, they take their history, and they treat it like it's religion, where you can't go ahead and say something was different here because it relates to something different than what we believe or what we know. And that's the problem.
It's a big problem.
Yes.
So we're going to have to see what comes, and this could be an interesting year. We'll see what happens.
Exactly,
I like
my
the fact that Grush started off with a bang with the points that he made at the beginning of the show.
which kind of aligns with what Gary Nolan was saying, what we covered earlier this week.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have the independents, the people who are in the positions to come forward and bring out the truth. And that's what I think David Grush is doing. And I think he's forcing individuals like Clapper and others to go ahead and actually start talking about what the hell they were dealing with. Because that's a lot of questions he's going to have to answer now. Yeah. Whether he likes it or not. The questions won't go away.
No, they won't.
He's old enough. Fess up and tell the truth before you have your heart attack or stroke accidentally.
Well, look, Cheney could have came forward if he wanted to. He didn't. A lot of these gatekeepers are going to keep this secret buried as long as they can.
Oh, they will, my friend.
Unfortunately, that's what we know.
We're going beyond one generation, so it may well be that we lose the history as these people die off. The ones that actually had eyes on, they're going to be dying here.
Yeah. So let's bring out the truth before they pass away, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But then again, they threaten them on their spouses and their family. So even maybe potentially those threats can go too far.
Which is why the secret remains a secret.
Yeah.
Now.
When telling the truth on UFOs, get this here. Let me get to this one here. I can have some fun with this one. I'll probably get in trouble for it, but I'm going to show it anyway. Yes, when sharing the truth on UFOs can come into the control of the U.S. military, like those who are going up against our ICE agents.
Oh my God.
They will come in, they will pull you aside, they will lock you up, and you think you're doing the right thing, but the reality is you're in violation of federal laws, so you fucked around. It's about time to find out, Mike?
Oh yeah, they got to find out. Well, that woman did.
Oh, she did.
Unfortunately.
Oh yeah. Ed, go ahead.
Well, this is something I actually had given a lot of thought to recently in watching all the news, and I think the problem is going to be if this condition occurs, where Walls activates the National Guard under state control Title 32, and then Trump decides to up it and activates another section of them under 32, you're going to have those two forces militarily at opposite sides of each other, facing each other. What happens then? You following that? You could have guns committed from...
It's going to be a shit show.
Activated National Guard to federally activated National Guard.
Oh, we can vote. We can vote. It's not Trump's going to stop the vote for what's going on. That's going on in the United Kingdom right now, where they're shutting down local elections. They're taking municipalities and saying, no, you're no longer a municipality. You are now part of this larger area, and you are no longer allowed to vote for your leaders. Yeah, she did.
So, Ed, it sounds to me like what you're talking about in that situation would be the start of the second civil war in this country.
Well, absolutely. And I think we're seeing signs of that right now. I'm surprised that we haven't already brought that up as an explanation or what's going on. But I think we're seeing the signs of that happening.
Yeah.
And I remember a guy telling me, well, they'll be fighting in the streets. And I'm picturing, this was 5-10 years ago.
But remember, right now, all of these different protests that we're seeing, those people that are there, they're not there on their own accord. They are getting paid by communists to go ahead and organize and be there for these events. So just like the person who was accidentally shot when she tried to run down an officer. She's there and she's paid. She came all the way from Missouri up to Minnesota. Yeah, it's Antifa and it's others, but it's more than Antifa. We're dealing with the Communist Party going and attacking democracy in our cities, and we have a hopeless amount of people who have been brainwashed that we're dealing with. I'm sorry.
Thank the public schools for a lot of that too, the brainwashed people.
Yeah. Tia.
Yeah, but Thomas, when you use the word communist and you say that it's being funded, you should explain to the audience that some of that funding is coming right out of China.
It is.
From wealthy individuals, because they don't know it.
Well, it's also coming from George Soros, and let me see if I can get this really quick here. Okay. Even with my spelling mistakes, I can get the guy's name. No. His name starts with an S. But yeah, there's people out there coming from communism who are going and spreading all this stuff across the United States. We've seen the No Kings protests going on. We've seen the other ones against Trump and against other stuff. These are all funded by the Communist Party and George Soros. It's sad.
You've also pointed this out, Thomas, on a couple other of these protests we've seen. They all have the same signs. They're all very professionally done.
Yep.
You know, they're all wearing the same kind of markings or whatever. It's like it's an organized attempt to put those people into a riot situation.
Yeah. It's a shame, and we're seeing it going on. We've got communists in charge of Seattle and of New York City, and it's going to be one heck of a year to cover this stuff as it happens, because we're not going to go ahead and look the other way. We have to cover it.
We will be covering it, right?
Just like we're dealing with and we're covering the attack on free speech in the United Kingdom and Australia. Mike and I would say if Kamala Harris was in power right now, those same things against X would be happening, and against free speech would be happening in our country today.
Right. So we'll see after the midterm elections how that goes, where this country is ultimately going to be heading as a result of that.
Yeah,
doesn't sound like a good place potentially.
It doesn't. Well, we have to look about it. We can't talk about it. We can't look the other way of what's going on. We have to call out for the shit that's happening.
Oh, we do, and we will.
Yeah.
The audience can take that to the bank.
Oh, yeah.
We're definitely going to be covering this. Doesn't matter what they do over there. And even if they outlaw X and social media in Australia and in the United Kingdom, we're still going to be talking about it and covering it. So it's not going to stop. The conversation will continue regardless.
Yeah.
But let's hope that we don't end up with a second civil war this year.
Yeah.
Like Ed and I were talking about.
We just hope it's not going to get there, Mike. Absolutely. It's a shit show. You know, we've had democracy under attack. We've had our social program is under attack by so much fraud that the federal government has had to step in and shut this down because the states are unwilling to look at the fraud they're promoting within their states. It's just crazy.
It is. And nobody needs or wants this kind of aggravation.
You know, they're going to come up with at least $1.5 billion guaranteed in fraud that's going on. You know how much money the federal government gets from its people in income tax every year? $1.5 billion. So if they track down this and they can stop that, they could literally shut down federal income tax because they got rid of the waste, fraud, and abuse. Who wouldn't want to get rid of federal income tax, Mike?
Oh, of course. That would make everybody's lives better if that was to not be an issue every year for us.
Yeah. It's a shit show.
Well, we're going to cover it every step of the way.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, my friends. On that note, any other thoughts from the people in the back today? Gene, you've been quiet. You feeling all right? We a little too risque for you tonight?
I got
I'm sorry. You had your hand up.
About Iran, and had to take it. There's lots happening there.
Yeah, and no one's covering Iran, are they? The mass media shut down on it. They've shut down access to the internet.
Yeah, the second largest city is essentially fallen to the protesters, and there's a lot of unconfirmed reports circulating around, and some old oil and gas contacts reached out, and interesting conversation. Let's see what the weekend brings.
Yeah. Let's see where it goes, and let's see if we actually get some coverage. If not, we'll cover it tomorrow, Gene. It begs to have the audience to know what's going on in different parts of the world, because there have been videos that have been leaked out. They've shut down the internet everywhere, but they can't shut down Starlink coming from Elon Musk. And so stuff is still making its way out to the public. But again, the mass media, they're not covering shit on this.
No, nothing.
Why do you think that is?
Well, it essentially disrupts the entire narrative. Of the anti-Israeli narratives, the U.S. imperialism going in there. Some commentators have said that the regime right now is in a death spiral. There's images coming out of people putting up the old Iran flag, the one of the Shah, and and it seems a lot of oil companies are starting to make some short-term plans, which I think would send several signals that, and I think, I know there was a meeting, at the White House, Trump had with the oil executives, and I, saw the headline. It's one of those things I thought I'd read about, I'd read later. And now after this phone call, I'm like, oh, I should have watched that.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about this tomorrow, because I think this may be a major topic we're going to be covering. It's the attack on free speech in the United Kingdom, in Europe, and also in Australia. And these are part of our Five Eyes. Before we get to it, Tia, you've had your hand up. Sorry I didn't call you sooner, my dear lady. I'm a little absent-minded sometimes.
That's okay. That's okay. So I wanted to tell you something that happened here when all this happened. Usually, the same crowd of people will be like, Trump, bad, Trump bad, Trump bad. And this time it is like completely different around here, even down to like the young ones, like that are 18, 19, 20, 21. They're like, that's it. We're done. Like, we're done. They're lying. Like, Venezuela people are, what happened in that shit needed to happen. And, the Democrats were talking about it just 2 years ago when Biden was there. And so even like the people that hated him at this point are like, that's it. We're like, that's it. And Iran, like, these kids are paying attention. And when you said Iran, these kids know that Iran, China, North Korea, there are in Russia, all of them being down there in the Gulf, trying to bully the United States. They know, and they're happy that this happened. They're not mad. And they're trying to make this woman's death out to be something like a George Floyd. And it's not. Like, she went after that officer with a vehicle. You're going to get shot.
She didn't go after him. He got in the way and she was trying to get away.
Well, she actively backed up, and then she targeted him and ran forward. And it's just, there's more things that have come out on it, Syrup, and we're just going to have to look at all the video evidence as it comes forward. Because
what I seen, from the angle that I seen, she went right for him.
She didn't go for him. He happened to be in front of the vehicle because he decided to walk in front of a fucking car.
And why get in front of a car? Why get in front of a car?
Trying to get away.
You don't try to stop. You don't
drive towards someone if you're trying to get away. You don't go ahead and drop someone out of your.
You don't do it with a vehicle to a federal agent. They were already being hostile. She did.
Hostile, dude. That's what you
hostile.
If she was trying to leave, why did she kick her spouse out of the vehicle to go ahead and record what was going to happen next?
That's the only thing she said. She wasn't being hostile. That's a false narrative. I mean, we could all watch the video. She said,
yeah, I mean, the videos I seen, she was being hostile. So I don't know.
So what
I think we're talking about
she said? She said, "I'm not mad at you."
if a police officer tells you to stop and to get out of the vehicle,
you fucking stop.
Get out of the vehicle.
They
you
were
don't
not
drive
police
off.
officers.
No, you don't.
They're federal officers, which usurp police officers.
Because he said, call the police after he shot her. They were not police officers.
No, they're
Just like
federal
they didn't
officers. They're
render
not
aid.
police officers.
Which police officers render aid after they shoot somebody.
And they did try to render aid, but they couldn't because she was
That's
already
not what happened,
passed.
because the doctor was begging them to render aid and he was a neighbor.
Right, but
He
they
lived
were
across
already
the street,
rendering
"Please
aid, so
let
it all
me
comes
render
down
aid."
to
And they said,
he
"Our
said,
medics will
she
eventually,"
said.
and she was sitting there bleeding out.
They had a federal. They were following federal law. Okay, she doesn't even live there, and I don't know the videos that everybody, like she was this victim. She's not the victim here.
Yeah, she is the victim. That dude who got a little boo-boo on his leg ain't no victim.
She was a paid she wasn't there on her own accord. She was there as a paid protester.
Me with your vehicle, I'm gonna.
Yeah, and you know what the difference is here? You're going to jail because you don't have the same rights as these federal fucking agents.
Well, if she was there, okay, here's a quick question, guys. Was she there as a paid protester following the directions of people to do the job?
But I do have the evidence that I did see, and I saw 2 other cars drive in front of that vehicle, and then I saw the pickups truck stop and get out.
I don't understand where you're not what you're not seeing. I seen the video. She went
so did I.
into that car.
I would love to see what you're talking about, because I didn't see that. I don't know what video you saw.
I wouldn't condone.
I saw several videos.
I wouldn't condone somebody losing their. I'm not condoning it, but I wouldn't say this if I did not see what I seen with my own eyeballs.
Okay.
I seen the lady not looking forward and looking to her side as she was pulling away.
Have you seen the latest video that was released this afternoon, Sarah?
It doesn't matter. It's
what I saw was the vehicle backed up first. So if you were going to run someone over, you were just going to hit the gas, not back up.
The reverse lights on.
Get out of the way.
That's correct. That's correct. The reverse lights were on. You can see many photos.
But they said, get out of the vehicle.
She reversed first.
But they told her to get out of the vehicle, right?
And she turned the wheel to the right.
Abe, didn't they give her a direction to get out of the vehicle?
We're not bootlegging.
Crazy.
You guys are bootlegging, right?
Who in this is done? Let's start with this.
Yeah, you're bootlegging. Federal agent's ass.
I don't give a fuck. Listen, he's a federal agent.
Oh, he's a fucking hero. Did he save the fucking world?
Let's watch the language.
Listen, if you are threatening an officer, their lives, you deserve to be shot.
Okay.
Hey, really quick, can I just get someone from the United Kingdom, from Australia, who is a police officer, to go ahead and reflect on this from what she's seen from the latest videos out there? None of your business. Go ahead.
Oh God, yeah. Put the cop up there because that fucking matters, right?
She's not from the United States.
Wow.
I've actually been in a situation like this, and when you've got a big vehicle aimed at you, it's pretty terrifying. But the footage that I've seen, because I've had a look at a few footages, and I've stayed open-minded. But the last footage I saw was the footage of his dash cam, his body cam. And it is clear that she drove at him. It is clear.
It was actually his cell phone, just to make sure the record's clear there. It was he was holding it in his left hand.
Yeah.
You can see him in other video.
So it wasn't a stable camera fixed to his vest. It was in his hand.
Oh, well, what happened? Did they have
It's still a camera. And
how can
it doesn't show the full perspective of what happened. It doesn't show the tires.
It's still a camera, but from what I see,
I wish we could get an independent investigation besides the administration.
If you got a big ass car like that coming at you, I'm telling you.
Would you stand in front? Would you stand in front of the vehicle before it was moving? Because when it wasn't moving and coming at anybody, when she turned the wheels to the right after she reversed it, it wasn't coming after. He was rotating around with the camera.
She turned the wheels to the left.
Yes,
not to the right.
He was getting out of her way.
Okay, anyone in the back who has their hand up, just jump in, please.
Right. So I mean, we can argue about that all day. That's a menace. We can easily prove it.
Well, anyway, we'll have a look at the footage tomorrow on the show. We'll have a look at the footage and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, perfect.
My opinion, as it is.
If that would have been me that pulled that trigger on someone, I'd be sitting in a jail cell right.
Yep.
Can I talk?
Yeah.
How do you fit 1,000 babies in one car? Wow, machine.
Why is that?
Can I talk?
Take it, Nanya.
From where I stand at the moment, after the footage that I've witnessed, I think he was within his rights. I personally would have let a shot off too. Yeah. Because, you know, like I've been in a situation like that. I was very lucky. It was at a random breath test, and the officer that approached the window of the car, the offender, and that's the other thing. They're talking to her as a victim. She's an offender. She's an agitator. She was there. She shouldn't have been there.
What crime did she commit? What crime did she commit? In the United States, we can be wherever we want. We can be wherever we want.
She's using a motor vehicle as a barricade.
Obstruction.
She was in a bike lane. And
She was going ahead and performing obstruction, Abe. Obstruction.
Obstructing an operation.
She wasn't obstructing anything.
She was obstructing an operation from going on. Yes, 100%.
You're talking over the top of me. Can I talk?
It was a conversation.
Answer that question.
It was a conversation.
Just let Abe, just let her talk.
Answer that question.
Go ahead, Nanya.
Answer that question. You asked me what crime has she committed. She's using a car as a barricade. The illegal use of a motor vehicle, for one. Obstructing an operation. A law enforcement operation. Look, you want to go all day. I mean, she doesn't need to be there. She doesn't need to be there.
Hey, Nanya,
she's not involved in the
It was the
arrest.
ICE vehicles that were blocking the road because they were stuck in the snow. So anybody that
Yes, they were stuck in the snow and they were blocking vehicles. You act like that they've been telling you guys.
Listen, I don't know what
police
videos you guys are watching.
I don't know what they're watching either, Tia.
Police officers.
I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at somebody else that was killed today. I don't know, because them are not the videos that I seen.
Well, those are the videos I seen. They were stuck in the fucking snow and they couldn't get, and they were blocking traffic because they were stuck in the snow. That's why vehicles were going around them.
Okay, so the video I seen, her and her girlfriend were there to be agitators. They were yelling and screaming at the federal agents. She was following them with her vehicle. He told her like 5 times because what she was being threatening with the vehicle. She didn't listen. She didn't get out of the vehicle. And then
who was telling her to get out of the vehicle? She don't have to get out of the vehicle because ICE says so. Only law enforcement can. ICE doesn't even have the right to do that.
Listen, he's a federal agent and he can arrest you.
But he doesn't have the right to do that. He doesn't have.
He had no authority to arrest her. For what reason?
Do that. They didn't even have the right to walk up to her vehicle and try to open the door. That's where they fucking. They don't have that authority.
Why aren't the police there fucking doing their job?
The police don't want to fucking do their job for that shit. That's why.
Well, then,
they don't believe in what
No, the police are being held back from doing their job specifically by the governor of the state and the mayor of the city. That's why the police aren't there to be along what's going on.
Well, that's negligence of duty, isn't it?
Yeah, welcome to Minneapolis.
This is what happens when everybody wants to fucking...
What Donald Trump's, what they want ICE to do, Minneapolis doesn't want to play that game. Tough shit. Tough shit. If you want your fucking cops to be able to...
But there was a video that was actually brought out on CNN today, if I can find it.
Authority to do so, but they don't have the authority to do that. They didn't have the right to go up and try to open their door. That's where they fucked up.
What they're there for, they are there federally. They have a legal obligation to be there.
They legally did not have their right to approach that car. They had no legal authority to approach that car. No probable cause.
Okay. You know what? So what? So what?
It's not so what. It's called the law.
No, they have a right on a federal basis to be there to conduct the operations that got going on.
Trying to kill a pedestrian with her car.
I don't know what
So
laws
she
they
deserves to
go.
be shot in the face 3 times. So she
If
deserves
you
to
are
be
going to
shot in
go
the face
after
3
me
times.
with a vehicle, yes, I will shoot you in your face.
Okay.
And you
He
go
put
to jail
himself in
because
that
you don't have the same
situation.
rights as the fucking
He put himself in that situation, and he had enough time to get out of the way. He put himself there.
No, that's just no. I'm not gonna let you run me over because I don't like your fucking politics.
Exactly.
You didn't have to get near the car in the first place. You had no business to be in front of the car, Bob.
This is America. This is America.
She waved 2 other cars in front of them, and she said, "I'm not mad at you."
That is not what she was screaming at that cop.
No, she did say that.
I'm not mad at you.
She did
said,
say
I'm
that.
not mad at you.
I'm just
Literally
curious.
on recording said that.
Corporal, I'm curious. Do you and Syrup and everybody else know that?
Okay, here we go. We got it right here. We got the video. We've got someone who's telling her to open the door
she was stalking us.
to come out.
I agree with you. I agree with you, bro. And I did hear that, right? But when she got shot, I mean, but still, that's not a reason. Then arrest her. But no one deserves to be shot in the face by Homeland Security in this country. That's an American. We have police. We have law enforcement tactics.
They weren't there.
Right? Hold on. Can you stop yelling for 1 second, bro? Chill out. Stop yelling at me. Stop yelling at me. Stop yelling at me. We listen to you, bro. We listen to you. Can you chill the fuck out?
You have been talking over everybody.
I wasn't saying anything. I was talking to Daryl. Chill out, Tia. Chill out. I was talking to Daryl. I was answering Daryl. It's not your time to talk, sweetheart. Can you chill the fuck out?
It wasn't your time to talk many times either.
All right, bro. Let's let you have your time. Let's let you have her time. Go.
Yeah,
are we still live?
Yeah, we're still live. Apparently, our audience has been leaving us in droves.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Have a conversation with Daryl, not you, but go ahead. I'm waiting.
You were just talking over me and Nunya.
We were talking to Daryl now, okay? We weren't having a conversation with you, but are you done now? Can I finish talking to Daryl, or you still got some more?
Got some hands up back here.
Ed, go ahead.
Oh, I've been chomping at the bit for 15 minutes watching this fight.
So have I, and I've been just kind of seeing this stuff, yeah.
Well, it knocked me out of my recliner. That's how bad it was. So
yeah.
The other thing I wanted to point out is we could solve this real easy up in what's going on in Minneapolis without talking about shooting or anything. It's just let the Democrats pick states and the Republicans pick states and divide up this country. We'd never have to go to civil war. You know, Democrats could have California and New York, and Republicans could have Texas and North Carolina and South Carolina. I mean, that's the way. But the one thing, let me get serious about one point. I think the one thing I want to point out is we watched and listened as you were laughing at the whole thing, Thomas, of what was going on. The vile remarks that were popping out here in this discussion.
I know. I couldn't control it. I'm just like, holy shit. The back is just going at each other, ripping themselves apart. But that's sometimes you need to have the debate, because when it comes down to it, we'll walk away and say, shake your hands and say, let's do it again tomorrow. And that's what it's about. Sometimes you have to let the stuff off your chest, how you feel about stuff, to fight back against each other.
There's really an important lesson here. I want to try and squeeze this out before someone else jumps in. But it's that they have said, most people that have studied UFOs, NHIs, UAPs, whatever, have said that there's generally consensus among the community of people that they don't fight with each other like they do on these political issues. You can see that difference in our discussion.
Oh, yeah.
You know, generally when we're talking about the topic of disclosure,
we're all on the same page.
We're kind of all casually talking about what we believe is, you know, a nuance about it or whatever. But when it comes to politics, it's total opposites. And I just find that interesting.
That's why we call you the recliner in chief, my friend. You give us a great big picture view of stuff, and that's true. You know, there's a lot of things that when we all come for together disclosure, we forget about the left, we forget about the right, and focus on what we're going towards. Laura, you've been very patient as well, my dear lady, but I'd love to hear what you have to say. Laura?
He's muted.
You're muted.
I'd like everybody to take a deep breath, breathe in, breathe out. This is all going to, there's going to be an investigation in all this. It's really fascinating when you've ever been in jury trials and you have to hear the whole story of every piece of it. The shooter, for example, he had been hit before. by a vehicle. So in his mind, you know, he's like maybe a little edgy about vehicles because he was, you know, and then
he was hit and run over, wasn't he?
Pardon?
He was hit and run over in the past.
Right. You know, maybe he needs to dodge cars better. But the FBI
also a combat veteran. Also an Iraq veteran.
Yeah, and there's, you know, I guess the moral of the story to a lot of this is if somebody has a gun, and whether or not they're a police officer or they're acting police, and they say, get out of the car, ma'am, I'd be getting out of that car. Because, yeah, I don't want to be shot. And sometimes I think people get behind cars and they feel that they're protected like an armor, but you're not. And this is just
like they don't have to follow the demands of the agents that are there telling them to get out of the car. They think they don't have to, but if they're interrupting a federal operation, they are obstructing that operation, which means they are operating against the law, unfortunately, even though they think they don't have to.
You know, you can't get inside, but you know, let this. You know, there was a shooting that was a couple years ago. A beautiful woman called the police because there was some disturbance she heard as the Somali officer came in Minnesota to her. She walked up to the car to try and help, and she was shot. You know, that was a horrible tragedy, and it didn't raise the kind of hell that this did. But I think hopefully people on both sides are going to learn from all of this, I hope. But we need to just relax, let the feds look at it more and come up with some answers, hopefully soon, and hope this doesn't happen again.
Yeah, let's hope for it. Absolutely. Wow, what an interesting conversation. This is the most the back has gone at each other tooth and nail to date, so wow. Mike, are you surprised?
I'm just looking at their powers, right? And apparently, agents have the power to stop, detain, and arrest people they suspect of being in the US illegally. They can detain US citizens in limited circumstances, such as if the person interferes with an arrest, an assault of an officer, or an ICE suspect, the person of being in the US illegally. So they do have the power to arrest US citizens or to apprehend or detain US citizens.
If you're obstructing their operations, you can be arrested. Yes, and it's not a civil offense; it's a federal offense. Unfortunately. And it's sad when you're getting people who are wound up coming from 350, 400 miles away from multiple states who have kids that are putting themselves in these situations and they're getting hyped up on what the directions are. And I would love to see what are the communications that was sent to this person that she was told to do and what was she supposed to go ahead and put forward. And if that's the case, and if these organizations did prompt her and did give her advice on what to do and everything else, then those organizations should be held culpable for going ahead and paying this person and telling her how to act. Simple enough. We just want justice for everybody. And if there are organizations that are behind this and it's going on, fucking throw them under the bus. Shut them down. Take away all their money. Take away their ability to continue to brainwash our country.
Yeah, because that's what they're doing, Thomas. Like, they're paying these people and that are easily manipulated, and they play their emotions like a fiddle, and it is frustrating to watch. It really is.
It is.
It's frustrating because the non-truths that come out of people's mouths. And if I've seen something with my own eyeballs, I would never condone something like that. I would never, I've seen it. I've seen the shit here. Like, that's actually why I even raised my hand, was to tell you that, the little protest that we had here I live in New York, you know that?
Yeah.
So I live in a smaller city than Mike does, but it's not a very small city. And I'm going to tell you, you want to know who was out there? White old people.
Yeah, that seems to be general in Washington state everywhere. You get old white people who are out there. They're more boomers than they are Gen X, thank God. But that seems to be the people who are out there who are leading these protests because they're no longer employed. They have a lot of time on their hands, and they're getting paid handsomely for their time that they're out there protesting, unfortunately.
Yes.
Hey, I got a question real quick.
Take it, guys. I'll be right back.
These younger kids that don't have community, like that have a hard time fitting in. They get these kinds of kids. They feel like they've got a community, and they're able to be manipulated. So every single time something happens, Free Palestine or Black Lives Matter movement or No King's Day, or it's always something. Like they're jumping from cause to cause to cause. And if you're down for all causes, then you're down for no cause. So I'm a little.
I got a question. If we're supposed to let this investigation play out, right, and find out the facts and let it play out and let them come up with the answer, how come we can't do that with the UFO stuff and just let Arrow handle it?
Because
it's the UFO stuff? Is that why? Because it's the UFO stuff?
Because it's not political.
Because UFOs don't exist.
UFOs don't need oil.
UFOs don't exist.
So yeah, exactly. UFOs
they don't exist
according to Arrows. Let
oh my God.
Let the investigation play out. Let it play out. Let the government do their fucking job. And then we'll have our answers. We don't need to be fucking trying to nitpick this shit, right?
All right. On that note, I'm going to go ahead and bring this to an end. What a crazy show, Mike.
I mean, yeah, you can do that, sir. It's to everybody else's, it's your personal preference, isn't it?
I'm just saying it's a hypocrisy. Whenever it's something like this, it's like, oh, let the investigation play out. They'll find out the answer. The government's going to investigate. They're going to do their job. The federal government's going to investigate.
Let's let all the video evidence to come out, and we can all judge based on that, and not how we emotionally feel, but how we feel based on the evidence that comes forward.
Hey, Thomas, Matt has his hand up. He's had his up for a while.
Go ahead. Matt, Ramon.
How's it going, Thomas? I
had no idea I'd stoke up the back like this tonight. Oh my God.
Yeah. I sent you a video that shows partial of the officer's body cam. I sent it to your cell phone. It's a YouTube video. It's a short of it. And it's directly with the passengers in the car plus the woman. It gives you a different perspective of what happened. One of the things that you have to look at too is that she was blocking an active intersection. And she was doing it partially because ICE was trying to get through.
But that was her. There was someone in the car, but her spouse had gotten out of the car and was videotaping up close, which is just messed up.
There was a dog in the back of the car.
Yeah, and there was a neighbor in that video that I just sent you. If you can play it, it shows all of it.
If I can kill the audio, I will.
And one of the cops was begging her to stop, too.
There's no music on that. It's all audio of the body cam.
I know. I'm just trying to make it to where I can deal with this. This is in wrong browser where people aren't going to be able to hear this in the back. I need to get this to Brave. Let me bring this to here. All right, and this is disturbing. Yeah, we're going to get hit by YouTube for showing this shit, but let me just go ahead and find a way to kill this audio for the audience because I don't want them to hear this shit necessarily. Desktop audio, probably that. Okay, here we go. I don't know what we're dealing with here. That's up to the point, but we're not getting to the point of when that actually happened. This is all before it happened. There we go.
She hit him.
So the guy gets hit, clearly.
Yeah.
Every inch matters.
So she thinks she can turn the wheel, get away from it, and she still runs the guy over, and he shoots her in self-defense.
You got to keep in mind, this is not body cam footage. This is a cell phone in his left hand.
Yeah. Either way, it's a travesty of what happened. A life went away that didn't need to. Perhaps the people that funded her to send her to that location, gave her instructions of how to act, those should be the people that are held accountable for the situation that happened. Just saying.
Exactly. Follow the money, follow the trail.
Bingo.
Thomas, I was going to save this for the back chat, but I'm just real quick. You and I watch a lot of these cop videos. How many cop videos have you seen where somebody goes up to the car, they're trying to open the door, and the guy takes off and there's a cop in front of them? How many of those people survived doing that?
I haven't
None.
seen any where they tried to run over a cop. I've seen many to where they're on the door, they try to open the door, and the person runs away, and they say, oh my God, they almost hit me, but really they didn't. There wasn't a cop directly in front of the vehicles of any of the videos that I've actually seen to where this kind of a thing went on, and they didn't do it. But also, this is a security heightened. It's not just one person on the side of a road with a vehicle. You've got a whole theater of things that are going on here, right?
Yep. And if I could bring up one point, I was talking to a guy that I work with that's former ex-military, and he says that, ICE has a very heightened sense of insecurities because they walk down the middle of the road. There's vantage points on either side of them at all times, and they're constantly under duress of fear of maybe they might get ambushed.
I have to ask the question
like
too.
This, it could possibly be.
Were either of those people under the influence of testosterone when they're doing this stuff?
Well, that haircut sure is.
You never know. And if it is, that just points down the situation of people doing stupid things and they've got their mind wrapped up in the wrong way.
Just FYI, the dog was okay.
Good.
At least the dog was all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What a show. Let's see how many people we lost on for subscribing tonight. But you know what? I let it go where it went. A lot of people went back and forth, but it's like family. We're all coming together at the picnic bench outside the backyard of my grandparents' house. We're all sitting on opposite sides. We're all yelling at each other about our positions. But at the end of the day, we come together and say, we'll see you tomorrow, right?
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
How it should be.
Mike, you still with us? Or did he run away?
He said, fuck this, I'm out of here.
Oh, I got to go take a look.
I wanted to hear Mike's opinion on this.
Not you. No, Mike Disclosure is still here. Mike Disclosure, he's still with
here,
us.
But he's not answering.
No. He's not going to answer till the shit is over.
I had a question for him.
On that note. I want to go ahead and thank everybody for coming out to this episode of Disclosure tonight. Yeah, I never intended to go here, but you know what? We had a great show, a lot of great stuff to talk about. But then, yes, we came down to DT Civil War. But the thing is, we have to be able to talk about stuff, to go ahead and go back and forth, and we'll see where it ends. In the end, we're both on opposite sides. We'll hope we'll get there on that point. I want to thank everybody for coming out to this episode. Did we get any super chats this show? I don't know. But anyway, I thank everybody for coming out. Actually, we did get one from Tio in the back today. Thank you very much for that wonderful $50 super chat. And as we usually say at the end of every episode of Disclosure tonight, eyes open, no fear, be safe, everybody. But we'll catch you in the flip side. Good night, everybody. See you soon. Good night, Tia. Take care. Bye-bye.